Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the future of marketing. And we're going to be talking a lot about the future of marketing. Basically, this entire session is about the future of marketing, this entire event. And it's really here, our heart is to surround you with fellow winners, people who are crushing it in their business. Because I have, so Dan Martell is a friend of ours, and he has this philosophy, which I love, which he says, it's caught, not taught. And sometimes if you want to catch things, if you want to catch success principles, you need to surround yourself and be around the people who are implementing those in their life. And then just get encouraged by them, get fueled up. It doesn't take long before you start to see yourself through the eyes of others and you realize, hey, they see you as the same level of leadership as I see them. How does that work? How am I bringing that every day to my life and my career and my goals and my hopes and my dreams? And so we're going to be talking about the future of marketing. And on that note, so this is obviously football themed. So we're going to be talking about trends. To really understand where things are going, you first need to look at the trends. And because you want to be where they're throwing the ball. And obviously I live in Canada. We got an ice rink that's already frozen. It's freezing cold here. And Wayne Gretzky's a hero of ours. And he has this beautiful quote, which is, I skate to where the puck is going. And the point of that is you want to position yourself in your business to the areas where things are moving. So where the world is great, but to really tackle and take hold of your future, you want to invest and position yourself in your business and your time into what's going to have the best benefit, best bang for your buck moving forward. So let's start by looking a little bit at the social landscape. So what's happening right now? So this is strictly from NAR. These are real statistics. And this is looking at where agents are spending the majority of their time. And there shouldn't be no surprise. So you can see Snapchat, 5%, TikTok, 5%, YouTube, 24%, big opportunity there. LinkedIn, 48%, Instagram, 52%. So that's the second biggest. And then 90% is Facebook. And it makes a ton of sense, right? Because 90% of people are spending their time in the platform where it's the most designed to create relationships. It's the most optimized for you to be able to connect with people. You just put one post on Facebook, people get to see you, they get to see your friends, your family, what you're doing. You're staying relevant to them. And it's just about staying in that state of mind. So Google actually just released this data 9 days ago. So this is very, very fresh. And what they've done is they take a look at the search data and they compile it, and then they can they get to see what's changing as far as behaviors in the marketplace, how people are choosing the businesses they're working with. And this is really interesting. So this is a kind of a big surprise. So a lot of these numbers are big amplitudes from where they were just last year or the year before. And if you look here, you can see that 4 out of 10 people made their decision of who they were going to choose to work with based on reputation and trust. These are all people who started their searches online, and they made their decision based on reputation and trust. What's that telling us? Brand is important. Here's another statistic. This is way above where it was just a few years ago. On average, this is just the average. On average, people compared 4 choices. They compared 4 businesses before selecting the business that they ended up working, before selecting the professional or the business or the person. The third thing, so you know what lead forms. Lead forms are basically when you provide an offer to somebody and they click that offer and they're like, oh, I want to get that information. I'll provide my personal details so that I get that information. Well, what Google found is that 90% of people actually thought that the lead form was helpful. So that's a really positive thing. So what that means is when people are out there searching and they're trying to educate themselves, 90% of people find lead forms really helpful. And here's the other cool thing is that 50% of people will give more information in a lead form if they will get faster service. So that's a real easy win right there. I mean, you can take that one away tomorrow. Basically, you put it right in the end of your forms, maybe add a third or fourth question. Would you like this faster? Put your phone number here. And so this is just a really, really easy way where you can look at the things. And what this is really starting to show us, one of the things that Google talked about is that the amount of research that people are doing when it comes to buying online has changed a lot. So when they're looking online, the trust equation has gone way up, and the journey that they're taking before they're making that decision is way more complex. They showed this graph of basically like how people are making their journey. And they're saying that it's like snowflakes. No two journeys are alike. And so this really puts a really big opportunity for somebody who starts to invest early on in their brand. And there's different ways you can do that. And we can talk about that more. But obviously, if people are starting to find you online, they're going to be looking elsewhere for you. So they're looking for people and brands they can trust. And what that means is that they're going to go and they're going to compare you on YouTube. They're going to go find you on Instagram. They're going to look for your Google reviews. They're going to look for your website because they're thinking to themselves, hey, this person seems really cool. I found their ad. They seemed really helpful. I got the offer. Who are they really? Is this somebody who can guide me through this decision and is credible? And so how we present ourselves matters more than ever. And this is huge. 1 in 5 people say they haven't made a decision yet because they haven't found a company they trust. Put that into your own contact base. If you have leads and you have a database of leads, 1 in 5 of them, according to Google, haven't yet, and these are people who are ready to act today, haven't yet made that decision to move forward because they haven't found somebody they trust. That's a big opportunity right there. That's really big. This is also another interesting thing. So this is according to NAR. This is the latest stats. 19% of agents use digital ad campaigns to generate quality leads. That means if you're running digital ads, you're ahead of 81% of your competition. Crazy, right? That I think is really interesting. And so here's a question for everybody. Put this in the chat. What's the number one predictor of a conversion from an ad? What's the number one predictor of a conversion from an ad? Response speed, image, not sure, relevance. These are all really good. Amount of follow-up, interaction, response time. Yeah, these are really good. Willingness to engage. Yeah. Engagement. Pre-existing relationship. Close. Really close. Think about how people think of relationships online and how they think of brand. Response time. The number one predictor is whether or not they recognize your brand. So no point in time has becoming omnipresent been more important. No present in time is having your brand being known and liked and seen more important. The number one predictor is whether they recognize your brand. Isn't that crazy? So we talk about omnipresent. So a brand is a reason to choose. There's people everywhere. This is actually a photo of a ton of people on the street, and they're looking up and they're seeing signs, they're seeing the billboards, and they got their phones out. And this is really, when you think about it, if you have an audience of, let's say, 1,000 people, imagine that for a second. Put 1,000 people in a street. It would be more than this. And all of these people are your audience. And so they're looking up and they're seeing your billboard. You're building in them an establishment, a understanding of who you are so that they're recognizing you as a voice they can trust. Brand has become a decision factor, maybe the most important decision factor that people now have when it comes to who they're working with. So I want to give you a brief talk about timeline. So obviously, in the last 2 years, a lot has changed in the marketing world. And what happened is in 2021, April of 2021, Apple announced that they were going to be bringing out a brand new iOS 14 update that they then rolled out around June of that year. And this was a major change because essentially what they said is we're going to go to cohort advertising. And what that means is rather than showing the advertisement of red shoes to the person that wants to buy red shoes, they're going to show the advertisement of red shoes to anybody who likes shoes. And so advertising became a lot less relevant overnight, and Facebook had to comply. It was a big change. And so in May of 2021, we launched a bunch of new ads to basically make sure that we were on top of this before it rolled out. And then we launched the custom domain conversion ads. And so that was in June of 2021. And right then, that's when the iOS 14.5 update came. And the world as we knew it changed. In fact, Google, Facebook, Apple, the biggest players in what is advertising when it comes to how we do data are now jumping in. Don't worry if some of the stuff feels like it's a little like top of the left. We're going to have replays available. You're going to be able to replay this and catch everything. And we're going to go into some really basic stuff. But I'm going to talk about this from a high level standpoint, just so you have an idea of what's shifted and where things are going. So And by August of 2021, we started seeing our ads and we're like, wow, we're getting these really incredible, awesome cost per leads. This is working. What we're doing is working, how we're optimizing these campaigns. We did the virtual summit in June 2022. We launched retargeting phase 1 in July of 2022. We did the conversations updates in September of 2022, which includes the ability to actually see the full ad journey beside the lead. And then now we're welcome to the fourth quarter blitz. And we got some exciting stuff that we're going to share today. But I want to show you this. So Meta actually just released these stats this last month as well. So these are brand new stats. And this is really fascinating. If you want to, so when the Apple update came out, people were basically, okay, we're in the dark. Advertisers, Facebook, were saying, okay, we don't have the data we need. We got to fix signal loss. And so they started to move aggressively to improve signal loss. In the most recent, so they were able to improve that all the way down to 15% signal loss, which basically means they were getting 85% of the data that they were having before. In the last month, they've been able to improve that from 15% to 8%. That means they're seeing 92% of the signal that they had before. That's a whopping improvement. And why did that happen? Zuckerberg literally just at the last quarterly general meeting for shareholders basically said, I'm doubling down on advertising. Meta's doing some really, really cool stuff. So if you don't know, Meta is basically Facebook rebranded themselves as Meta. Meta now, so Facebook, Instagram, Oculus, all that stuff falls under Meta. And Meta is doing some really cool, fun things that Zuckerberg's really excited about. Like, he's kind of a nerd and I can share that with him. And so he geeks out on technology and stuff. And he's got this, like, one of the things he's really excited about, well, I actually think is really cool. Marcus thinks it's creepy, but I think it's cool. It's basically like a watch bracelet that can read the signals going through your wrist. So you got all these synapses firing and you got all the neurons firing. And so as you're moving your wrist, you can actually do some really cool stuff. And the idea is that if you connect it to glasses, you can start interacting with the world, and it's completely non-invasive. So you basically would wear it like a watch. And now you can start to interact with things. And if you think about it from this, you could literally pick up a newspaper. You could see a static image of the newspaper, maybe the weather. And with your glasses, you can now see the newspaper live. And so it'll basically make what we see in the world way more interactive. And it's super cool stuff. But in order to fund all of that, Facebook has to have advertisements that work, because that's how they make their revenue. So Zuckerberg announced, he said, I'm doubling down. All my focus is going into advertisement. I'm going to make these ads work better than they did before 2020. And when Facebook, because of the way that the Meta as a company is designed, it's pretty neat to watch. Whatever direction Mark looks, the whole company just kind of aligns. And so they were able to bring it from a 15% to 8% signal loss. That's 92%. That's amazing. The other big stat, which I think is really worth noting if you're running ads on Facebook, is that they show conversion API plus pixel. So you got to use the combination, are getting an 8% improvement over just doing the conversion API. That's a big number. The other one is, so what that means is Facebook's getting so much more data that they're able to give you lower cost leads. And the other one is they're showing that conversion optimization, so again, back to conversion optimization versus traffic optimization, is driving 71% lower cost for your leads. And that shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that logs into StreetTalks, because you can see the dashboard, you can see all the funnels, and you can actually see what the stats are beside of the ads. But that's directly from them. This is the most recent stats. So obviously the big trend that you can say there is that performance is improving. And this is what Mark Zuckerberg said. He says the best business experience is one where they meet people where they are. And so his whole hope is that he wants to create super relevant ads for people so that they really believe that you can have a world of privacy and a world where ads are relevant at the same time. And so that's what they're trying to create. And I personally am 100% in agreement with that. I think it makes sense. If you are looking for something and you're in the market for something, the last thing you want to see is cars when you're shopping for houses. So the more relevant, the more useful. And we want to create useful things. So the other thing I want to talk about is the first party data strategy. So again, this might sound a little bit up there, but maybe you're very familiar with it, maybe you're not. But just think about it in terms of cookies. Everybody loves cookies. I love cookies. My wife just made cookies last night. It was delicious. So cookies are basically the scripts like Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a cookie, and you have it in your website, and you can just see traffic. You can measure traffic. You can measure conversions. The cookies are the things that tell advertisers like Facebook, Google, that the campaigns are working. And after the big change happened in April of 2021, or was announced, we started moving towards a cookieless world. So basically, third-party cookies, any cookie that is not yours, so you are first party. So any, like you being the business owner, these are your leads, your ads, your everything, your first party. Any third-party cookies are ending. So Chrome has announced that they're going to be ending this in 2023. And just to say how big of a deal this is, Google is working on trying to come up with a solution to replace this, and they're now on their fourth solution, and they still haven't released one to the market. So this is a hard problem to solve, but this is a big deal. And if you think about it from this standpoint, this is all you have to think about is your list, your database is your information. And Facebook and Google are not going to necessarily have as much, and I keep bringing Google up there too because it's YouTube ads, it's Google ads. They're not going to have as much information as about your list as you do. And so the big opportunity here is that because it's your list, if somebody clicks on one of your ads, like say within Street Text, and they click a home seller ad or a home buyer ad, you get that information. You can actually create a tag to that contact, create sub lists of who that person is, and then upload those lists back to YouTube ads, upload that list back to TikTok, upload that list back to Facebook. And that actually gives you the ability to have really targeted advertising. You could even apply zip codes and all those things. And so it's really, really, really powerful stuff that you can do. So the big takeaway there is we're moving to a first party world. So you need to own your own list. So your database list is your most valuable digital asset. This is the audience. And the biggest strategy, the big takeaway here is just think about this for a second, is that when you run Facebook conversion ads, this is exactly what Tristan was talking about earlier. You use that for lead generation. It's the best way to build a list. Once you build that list, it's your list. Now add signals to that list, add the data to that list so you can now optimize and make sure you're retargeting the right people in the right way. Okay, so this is very exciting. So in 2014, Street Text released home seller funnels. We were the first platform in the world to do this. So you could go in and you could create these one-click funnels. That was 2014. And it didn't just change Street Text. It completely changed our business, but it didn't just change Street Text. It changed the way real estate businesses even thought about marketing. It changed the way marketing businesses were creating solutions. It was a crazy big shift. And if you saw the last 7 years, you will totally understand what I'm talking about. Then in 2017, we were the first company in the world to create text message drip automations. And we released that, and we had these crazy uplift in response rates. And we're like, wow, this is really exciting. This is really effective, and it's working well. And then shortly thereafter, we launched the split test. And for those who don't know, whenever you launch an ad to Facebook, your ad gets shown to a subset of that audience. And you don't get shown to everybody in the audience, but based on who your ad gets shown to, your ad will get certain performance. But if you want to get better performance by launching the exact same ad with the same targeting, the same optimization, and the same settings 3 or 4 times, you'll actually get shown to different subsets, which means you're increasing the odds that you're going to find the right audience. And simply by doing the split test, we found that we were able to drive down the cost per lead when everybody else was seeing the cost per lead grow, increasing. And it was just this crazy cool thing. And so that was a big thing. So what that meant was that our ads were easy. You could pick the ad, buyer, seller listings, you name it, drop your pin, and then you could launch up to 5 ads with the full funnel in one go. And that was just this really exciting thing. And it was tapped into Facebook's audience. You had the built-in lead cost. So you actually could see where, how much things were costing, where the leads were, and it auto-created the full funnel that you could personalize and make it your own. Well, today we are releasing something very exciting. So Steve's going to talk about it a little bit more, but we have as we talked about, we released phase 1 of retargeting. We've released the ability to import your leads from your CRM of your choice and sync those automatically to Facebook. And today, we're releasing smart ads. So smart ads, it solves a really big problem. And if you have ever tried retargeting and remarketing to your audiences, one of the things you'll know is that the cost can get up there pretty quick. If you're launching 20, 30 ads and you're spending $1 per day on each ad, well, that's $20 to $30 a day. With smart ads, you actually you only need to spend $1 a day and run 20 to 30 ads. And here's the best part. You don't want your retargeting ads to feel old or fatigue your audience or become annoying. So you want to make sure that your ads are staying fresh. That's a really, really important thing. You want to make sure you're getting the ad that's relevant to the right audience. And so with Street Text, we're combining this. So you'll be able to upload a list only to your home buyers, only to your home sellers, only to your past clients or your sphere or people that maybe you're talking to and you know are in the decision phase, and maybe they need to see a video about how do I prepare my home for the home sale? How do I prepare my home for this upcoming listing? And you want them to see that ad, but you don't want them to see the same ad every single day. So what we've done is we've created an auto rotation, which basically means on one day they're going to see the ad you want them to see. On the next day, they're going to see a different ad that's going to be equally relevant. And on the third day, they're going to see a different ad. And you can create as many ads in auto rotation as you want. This is game changing. This is the thing that every retargeting marketer has wanted. Yeah, this is awesome. And they haven't been able to do until today.